Hello, future organic chemists. Welcome to a fascinating journey into the basic principles of organic chemistry. Today, we are unraveling a key concept, hyperconjugation. This powerful idea helps us understand why some molecules are more stable than others. We'll start with the basics, then dive deeper, connect it to advanced theories, and even explore its role in competitive exams like GMAT. Get ready to explore the hidden forces that shape organic molecules. Let's kick off with the fundamentals of hyperconjugation. What is it, and how does it make molecules more stable? Hyperconjugation is essentially the delocalization of sigma electrons, specifically from a CH bond, into an adjacent empty p orbital or a pi orbital. Think of it as a way for electrons to spread out and share their energy, making the molecule more comfortable. It's often called no-bond resonance or the Bacon-Nathan effect because in its theoretical representation, it appears as if a bond is temporarily missing. This effect is a permanent feature in molecules and is crucial for stabilizing systems like carbocations, free radicals, and alkenes. The most important condition for it to occur is the presence of at least one alpha hydrogen atom. So, what's an alpha hydrogen? It's a hydrogen atom attached to a carbon that's right next door, or alpha, to an sp2 hybridized carbon, like in a double bond, or a carbon bearing a positive charge, like a carbocation. The magic happens when the sigma electrons from this CH bond interact with the empty orbital of the adjacent carbon, allowing electron density to spread. The more of these alpha hydrogens a molecule has, the more ways these electrons can delocalize, creating more hyperconjugative structures. This increased delocalization directly translates to greater stability for the molecule. For instance, in an ethyl carbocation, the three hydrogens on the methyl group are alpha hydrogens, all contributing to its stability. Time to test your understanding. First, define hyperconjugation in your own words. Second, what are the two main conditions required for this effect to occur? And third, among CH3CH2+ and CH3 to CH+, which carbocation is more stable due to hyperconjugation, and why? Take a moment to think about these. Ready to go a bit deeper? Let's explore the mechanism of hyperconjugation and see where else it plays a role. The mechanism of hyperconjugation involves a partial, yet significant, overlap. Specifically, a filled CH sigma bonding orbital interacts with an adjacent empty p orbital in carbocations and free radicals, or an empty pi antibonding orbital in alkenes. This overlap allows electron density to spread, essentially extending the conjugated system. It's a permanent electronic effect, unlike some temporary influences. The term no-bond resonance helps visualize this delocalization, suggesting a virtual breaking of the CH bond in contributing structures, which isn't a real event, but a way to depict electron movement. Ultimately, this delocalization lowers the molecule's energy, making it more stable. Hyperconjugation is a universal stabilizer for several key organic species. For carbocations, it explains why tertiary carbocations are more stable than secondary, and so on, due to the increasing number of alpha hydrogens. Similarly, in alkenes, more substituted alkenes are more stable because they have more alpha hydrogens, a concept that underpins Zaitsev's rule. Alkyl free radicals also follow this stability trend: tertiary, secondary, primary. Even in aromatic systems, alkyl groups attached to a benzene ring, like in toluene, can exert a stabilizing and directing influence through hyperconjugation, affecting electrophilic substitution patterns. It's important to place hyperconjugation within the hierarchy of electronic effects. Compared to the resonance effect, which involves pi electrons or lone pairs, hyperconjugation, involving sigma electrons, is generally weaker. However, it's a more significant and potent stabilizing force than the inductive effect, which is about electron transmission through sigma bonds due to electronegativity differences and is highly distance dependent. So, we can generally rank their strength as resonance being the strongest, followed by hyperconjugation, and then the inductive effect. All these effects work in concert to determine a molecule's overall electronic structure, properties, and reactivity. Now, for some medium-level challenges. First, explain why 2-butene is more stable than 1-butene using hyperconjugation. Second, draw the hyperconjugative structures for the tert-butyl carbocation. Third, how does the stability of alkyl free radicals change with the number of alpha hydrogens? Fourth, distinguish between hyperconjugation and the inductive effect. And finally, why is hyperconjugation sometimes called no-bond resonance? Good luck! Let's elevate our understanding. We'll now delve into the theoretical underpinnings and advanced aspects of hyperconjugation. From a molecular orbital perspective, hyperconjugation is a sophisticated stabilizing interaction. It's the productive overlap between a filled CH sigma bonding orbital and an adjacent empty p orbital in carbocations, or an empty pi antibonding orbital in alkenes. This interaction isn't just a simple electron shift, it forms new, delocalized molecular orbitals that are inherently lower in energy than their original localized counterparts. This energy reduction is precisely why hyperconjugation stabilizes molecules. The more effective these overlaps, which directly correlates with the number of alpha hydrogens, the greater the stabilization achieved, providing a robust theoretical basis for observed stability trends. The number of alpha hydrogens serves as a direct quantitative indicator for hyperconjugative stabilization. For carbocations, this clearly explains the 3 degrees greater than to degrees greater than 1 degree methyl stability order, with tert-butyl carbocation, for example, having 9 alpha hydrogens for maximum stabilization. In alkenes, this principle underpins Zaitsev's rule: the most substituted alkene, possessing the greatest number of alpha hydrogens, is the most stable and thus often the major product in elimination reactions. For instance, in the dehydrohalogenation of 2-bromobutane, 2-butene, with 6 alpha hydrogens, is predominantly formed over 1-butene, which only has 3. This rule is a direct manifestation of hyperconjugative stability. Beyond the familiar, there's also reverse hyperconjugation, also known as negative hyperconjugation. This involves the delocalization of electrons from a filled pi orbital or a lone pair into an adjacent empty sigma antibonding orbital, typically involving CX bonds where X is an electronegative atom like fluorine or chlorine. While less common, it can be significant in certain systems. The applications of hyperconjugation are vast. It elucidates the relative stabilities of carbocations, free radicals, and alkenes, and is crucial for understanding reaction mechanisms such as SN1, E1 and electrophilic additions. It even explains subtle bond length variations, where C to C single bonds adjacent to a double bond or a carbocation are slightly shorter due to partial double bond character from this effect. Now, let's tackle some hard-level questions. First, explain hyperconjugation using molecular orbital theory. Second, how does it explain Markovnikov's rule in electrophilic addition? Third, compare and contrast hyperconjugation with resonance. Fourth, predict the stability order of given free radicals using hyperconjugation. Fifth, what is reverse hyperconjugation? Sixth, explain how 2-methylpropene's stability is enhanced. And finally, discuss its role in E1 elimination reactions. Pause and challenge yourself. Welcome to the hardest level. Here, we'll delve into the deepest insights, historical context, and competitive exam depth of hyperconjugation. Prepare for an engineering perspective. Let's begin with the historical roots of hyperconjugation. Proposed by Baker and Nathan in 1935, it initially aimed to explain unusual reactivity orders in alkyl benzenes, earning it the Baker-Nathan effect moniker. Its no-bond resonance aspect initially sparked debate, but its ability to consistently explain stability trends and spectroscopic data led to its widespread acceptance as a fundamental electronic effect. Crucial experimental evidence comes from the deuterium isotope effect. Since C to D bonds are stronger and less prone to hyperconjugation than CH bonds, substituting alpha hydrogens with deuterium causes measurable changes in stability and reaction rates, unequivocally confirming the involvement of CH sigma bonds in this stabilizing interaction. For a truly advanced understanding, let's revisit the molecular orbital picture. Hyperconjugation is a sophisticated interaction where a filled CH sigma orbital overlaps with a vacant 2p orbital in carbocations or a vacant pi antibonding orbital in alkenes. This isn't just a simple electron transfer, it creates new, delocalized molecular orbitals. This interaction significantly lowers the energy of the filled sigma orbital, leading to a net reduction in the molecule's overall electronic energy, hence stabilization. The precise orbital symmetry and optimal staggered geometry are vital for maximum overlap. This interaction also subtly imparts partial double bond character to the adjacent C to C single bond, resulting in its measurable shortening, a key piece of structural evidence. Hyperconjugation is indispensable for understanding numerous reaction mechanisms. In SN1 and E1 reactions, the rate-determining step involves carbocation formation, and its stability, dictated by hyperconjugation, directly influences reaction speed. For electrophilic additions to alkenes, Markovnikov's rule is a direct consequence. Hydrogen adds to the carbon, forming the more hyperconjugatively stabilized carbocation intermediate. Even carbocation rearrangements, like hydride or alkyl shifts, are driven by the pursuit of a more stable carbocation through increased alpha hydrogen count and thus greater hyperconjugative stabilization. Similarly, the stability order of free radical intermediates, crucial in radical reactions, is also explained by this powerful effect. Beyond fundamental mechanisms, hyperconjugation offers critical insights for synthetic design. By predicting the stability of intermediates and products, chemists can strategically choose reactants and conditions to favor desired outcomes, for instance, promoting the formation of highly substituted alkenes. It also plays a subtle role in conformational analysis, such as the anomeric effect in carbohydrates, where specific conformers are stabilized by hyperconjugative interactions. Furthermore, hyperconjugation can indirectly influence acidity and basicity by stabilizing or destabilizing conjugate species. Its impact even extends to subtle physical properties like bond lengths and angles, providing a holistic understanding of molecular structure and reactivity. Alright, let's tackle the first 5 questions for the hardest level. First, discuss the historical development of hyperconjugation and early controversies. Second, explain how the deuterium isotope effect provides experimental evidence. Third, provide a comprehensive molecular orbital description for both carbocations and alkenes. Fourth, elaborate on hyperconjugation's role in Markovnikov's rule. And fifth, how does it drive carbocation rearrangements? Take your time, these require deep thinking. Now for the final 5 challenging questions. Sixth, critically compare hyperconjugation, resonance, and inductive effects. Seventh, how does hyperconjugation influence physical properties like bond lengths and angles? Eighth, design a hypothetical reaction where a product is favored due to hyperconjugative stabilization. Ninth, explain conjugative versus hyperconjugative interactions in terms of orbital symmetry. And 10th, discuss hyperconjugation's potential influence on acidity or basicity. These questions will truly test your mastery of the topic. And that brings us to the end of our deep dive into hyperconjugation. We've covered everything from its basic definition to its advanced molecular orbital theory, its role in reaction mechanisms, and its importance in synthetic design. Remember, understanding these fundamental principles is key to excelling in organic chemistry for GME. For more such comprehensive educational content and to master complex topics, visit synapse.omaps.in. Don't forget to like this video, share it with your friends, and subscribe to our channel for continuous learning. Keep exploring, keep learning, and keep achieving your goals. See you in the next session.